This story is titled From Chaos to the Unexpected. Chapter 1. A Dance with Chaos. In a world where chaos seemed to reign supreme, where political drama played out like a never-ending saga, and natural disasters struck with alarming frequency, the residents of a small town nestled in the mountains found themselves at the mercy of forces beyond their control. The once peaceful town had become a microcosm of the larger world, with tensions running high and uncertainty hanging in the air like a thick fog. The streets buzzed with fear and anxiety as news reached the town's inhabitants. Lena, a young woman with deep connection to the earth and its rhythms, felt the weight of the world's turmoil pressing down on her. As a child, she had always been attuned to the whispers of the wind and the murmurs of the trees, finding solace and guidance in the natural world around her. But now, even the mountains that had always stood as silent sentinels seemed to tremble with unease. Seeking refuge from the chaos outside, Lena retreated to the quiet sanctuary of her garden, where she tended to her plants with care and reverence. As she knelt in the soft earth, her hands cradling a delicate flower, she closed her eyes and tried to find solace in the familiar scents and sounds of nature. But even here, the signs of unrest were unmistakable. The once vibrant blooms now wilted under the weight of uncertainty, their petals drooping with exhaustion. The earth itself seemed to pulse with an uneasy energy, as if preparing for something monumental. As the days turned into weeks, and the chaos in the world continued to escalate, Lena found herself plagued by visions of a world on the brink of collapse. In her dreams, she saw rivers overflowing their banks, swallowing large villages whole, and mountains spewing forth fire and ash, blanketing the sky in darkness. Desperate for answers, Lena sought out the wisdom of the town's wise woman, a mysterious figure who was said to possess knowledge of the ancient ways. With trepidation, Lena made her way to the edge of town, where a small cottage stood nestled among the trees, its windows glowing with a soft golden light. The wise woman welcomed Lena into her home with a warm smile, her eyes intense and knowing. Without preamble, Lena poured out her fears and doubts, recounting the visions that haunted her dreams and the sense of impending doom that hung over the world like a shroud. The wise woman listened in silence, her expression unreadable. When Lena had finished speaking, she reached out with a weathered hand and clasped Lena's hand in a gesture of reassurance. "The world is indeed in turmoil, my child," the wise woman said, her voice low and melodious. "But chaos is not always a harbinger of destruction. Sometimes it is a necessary prelude to transformation." Lena listened intently as the wise woman spoke of the cycles of creation and destruction, of the eternal dance between order and chaos. She spoke of how, in the darkest moments, seeds of growth and renewal were planted, waiting to bloom when the time was right. As Lena absorbed the wisdom of the wise woman, a sense of calm settled over her like a gentle rain. She understood now that the world's upheaval was part of a larger tapestry, woven with threads of light and shadow, joy and sorrow. Armed with this newfound understanding, Lena returned to her garden with renewed purpose. As she tended to her plants, she felt a deep connection to the earth and its cycles, finding solace in the knowledge that even in the midst of chaos, there was beauty and resilience to be found. Days turned into weeks, and the turmoil of the world showed no signs of relenting. But Lena faced each new challenge with courage and grace, drawing strength from the wisdom of the wise woman and the grounding presence of the earth beneath her feet. And then, one fateful night, as Lena sat in her garden under a sky ablaze with stars, a sense of peace washed over her like a gentle wave. In that moment, she knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, she would face them with a heart full of hope and a spirit unshakable. As the world teetered on the precipice of the unknown, Lena closed her eyes and whispered a prayer of gratitude for the lessons learned and the strength gained on this tumultuous journey. And when the time came for her to leap into the unknown, she did so with a heart full of trust, knowing that wherever she landed, she would find herself in balance and at peace, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead with open arms. Chapter 2. Awakening. Lena's perception of the world around her shifted. A newfound awareness seemed to stir within her, a deep connection to the energy pulsating through the earth and all living beings. It was as if a dormant part of herself had been awakened, igniting a profound sense of purpose and understanding. As Lena continued to tend to her garden, she noticed a subtle change in the plants. The once wilted blooms began to straighten up, their colors vibrant and their leaves reaching towards the sun with renewed vigor. It was as if the energy and wisdom she had received from the wise woman were now flowing through her, infusing new life into the very soil she touched. But it wasn't just the plants that responded to Lena's newfound awareness. The animals in the forest surrounding her home seemed drawn to her presence, gathering near the edges of her garden as if seeking solace and guidance. Birds perched on branches overhead, their songs carrying messages of hope and resilience. One day, as Lena sat in her garden, a young deer emerged from the trees, its eyes meeting hers with a gaze filled with ancient wisdom. Without fear, the deer approached Lena, nuzzling her hand gently before bounding back into the forest. It was a moment of profound connection, a silent exchange of understanding between two beings linked by a shared reverence for the natural world. Embracing this newfound connection with nature, Lena began to venture beyond the confines of her garden, exploring the mountains and valleys around her town. With each step she took, she felt the pulse of the earth beneath her feet, guiding her towards places of power and resonance. It was during one of these journeys that Lena encountered a group of travelers seeking shelter from a sudden storm. As she led them to a safe haven in the mountains, she felt a surge of energy coursing through her, a deep knowing that she was exactly where she needed to be in that moment. In the days that followed, more and more people sought out Lena for her guidance and insight. They spoke of their fears and uncertainties, their hopes and dreams, finding solace in her presence and the calm assurance she exuded. It was as if Lena had become a beacon of light in a world shrouded in darkness, a source of strength and clarity for those lost in the chaos. With each person she helped, Lena's own understanding of her role in this new world deepened. She realized that her awakening was not just for her own benefit, but for the greater good of all beings struggling to find their way in a world gripped by turmoil. She was a conduit for the Earth's energy, a channel through which healing and balance could flow. And so, armed with this newfound awareness and sense of purpose, Lena dedicated herself to helping others regain their own sense of balance and harmony. She traveled far and wide, spreading seeds of hope and renewal wherever she went, touching hearts and inspiring minds with her words and actions. Along the way, she encountered others doing the same, and this left her feeling even more secure in the knowing this journey was being joined by so many others who themselves awakened. As the world continued to teeter on the edge of uncertainty, Lena stood strong and resilient, a garden of the earth and all its inhabitants. Her awakening had not only transformed her, but had also ignited a spark of light in the hearts of those she encountered, leading them towards a brighter and more harmonious future. And as she looked out over the mountains she called home, feeling the earth's energy thrumming beneath her, Lena knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she would face them with grace and courage, guided by the wisdom of the wise woman and the boundless love of the natural world. Chapter 3. The Crossroads. Years had passed since Lena's awakening, and her reputation as a beacon of light and wisdom had spread far and wide. People from distant lands sought her guidance and her presence, brought by a sense of peace and clarity wherever she went. The seeds of hope and renewal she had grown had blossomed into a garden of enlightenment, touching the lives of countless individuals. However, as Lena journeyed across the lands, she began to feel a stirring within her soul. A gentle whisper of a higher calling beckoned to her, pulling at the threads of her being with a sense of urgency. It was a call to ascend to an even higher level of existence, to transcend the limitations of the physical world and delve deeper into the realms of spiritual enlightenment. As she stood atop a majestic mountain, the wind swirling around her in a dance of ancient energies, Lena contemplated the path laid out before her. On one hand, she could choose to continue her work among the people, guiding them towards a brighter future and spreading the light of knowledge and awakening. On the other hand, she could heed the call of the universe and embark on a journey of self-discovery and evolution, leaving behind her earthly duties to ascend to a higher plane of existence. The choice weighed heavily on Lena's heart. She knew that by continuing to guide others, she could bring about positive change in the world and help usher in a new era of peace and harmony. But the longing for spiritual growth tugged at her spirit, urging her to explore the depths of her own soul and unravel the mysteries of the universe. As she closed her eyes and opened her heart to the cosmic energy surrounding her, Lena felt a sense of clarity wash over her. In that moment of stillness, she understood that her destiny was intertwined with the destinies of all beings, and that her decision would shape not only her path, but also the paths of those she had touched along the way. With a deep breath, Lena made her choice. she would continue to walk among the people, sharing her wisdom and light with all who sought it. But she would also embark on a personal quest for spiritual growth, delving into the secrets of the universe and expanding her consciousness to embrace the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. And so, with a renewed sense of purpose and determination, Lena set out on her journey. She remained a guiding light for those in need, a source of strength and inspiration in a world filled with turmoil and uncertainty. But she also delved into the realms of the unknown, seeking to unlock the secrets of existence and ascend to a higher level of consciousness. As she walked the path that lay before her, Lena knew that she was exactly where she needed to be. Whether guiding others towards enlightenment or seeking her own spiritual evolution, she embraced the interconnectedness of all things and the endless possibilities that lay ahead. And with each step she took, she radiated a light that illuminated the way for all those who crossed her path, leading them towards a future filled with boundless potential and infinite growth. And you would think this was the end of the story, but there's more. Chapter 4: The Path of Being. Lena's journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth led her to a profound realization that her true purpose was not in trying to become more spiritual, but in simply being. In the essence of her being, she found a deep connection to her spirit and the oneness that encompassed all of existence. With this newfound understanding, Lena's approach to guiding others shifted. She no longer emphasized the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment as a destination to reach or a goal to achieve. Instead, she encouraged those who sought her wisdom to embrace their humanity fully, to experience life in its entirety without the pressure of striving for a certain level of spirituality. In her interactions with others, Lena emanated a sense of peace and acceptance that went beyond words. People were drawn to her presence not because of any lofty spiritual teachings she imparted, but because of the authentic way she lived her truth. Through her actions and the way she carried herself, Lena inspired others to recognize the divinity within themselves and to understand that they were already serving their spirit by simply being. As she continued to walk her dual journey of guiding and seeking, Lena found a harmonious balance between the two paths. She realized that her role as a beacon of light was not about leading others to a specific destination, but rather illuminating the path for them to discover their own truth and connection to the oneness. In this realization, Lena embraced the beauty of each moment, whether spent in contemplation of the mysteries of the universe or in the simple joys of everyday life. She saw the interconnectedness of all beings and understood that in every experience, whether mundane or profound, there was an opportunity for growth and expansion of consciousness. With a heart full of gratitude and a spirit at peace, Lena walked the path of being with grace and humility. Her presence continued to uplift and inspire those around her, not through grand gestures or elaborate teachings, but through the essence of her being. A reminder that in the simplicity of just being, one could find the truest expression of their spirit and serve the oneness that connected us all. And in this way, Lena's journey of self-discovery became a beacon of light for those who sought the path of being.